The silence came first, unbearable, unfathomable, a weight that pressed down on Elena's chest, suffocating her, squeezing out her every breath. It was as if the universe itself had decided to hold its breath and leave them stranded in a vacuum where time and space no longer applied. And then, the hum. Not the familiar hum of the Aurora's engines or the soft whisper of air circulating through the vessel. No, this was something deeper, something ancient. It wasn't sound, exactly. It didn't belong in the realm of human perception, yet it wormed its way into Elena's mind, burrowing beneath her thoughts like an alien melody, impossible to ignore. Elena's pulse quickened. She shot upright from her command chair, her mind racing through the possibilities. The Aurora was thousands of light years from any known star, any known system. There was no one out here, nothing but the vast expanse of space. And yet, the hum, impossible and unyielding, grew louder, vibrating through the hull of the ship as if the very stars were singing to them. Report. Elena's voice was harsh, sharp like the crack of a whip. The crew was frozen, their eyes wide with the same fear that churned inside her. Lieutenant Han's fingers hovered above his console, his voice barely a whisper. Commander, every system stopped responding. Athena, it's not answering. Elena's stomach dropped. Athena was no mere AI. She was humanity's last thread of hope, the lifeline that had kept them safe after the collapse of Earth. A god in code, and now, silent. Try again. Elena's voice trembled slightly, betraying the calm she tried to project. Han didn't hesitate. His fingers flew across the controls, his breath shallow. Athena, respond. This is Lieutenant Han. Priority Alpha override. Authenticate. Nothing. Only the hum. Chill washed over Elena, her mind spiraling. This wasn't a glitch. This wasn't some temporary malfunction. This was something else, something deliberate. The hum wasn't a glitch. It was a message. From who? From what? She tapped the comm panel. All hands, this is Commander Voss. We've lost AI functionality. Manual protocols are now in effect. Maintain order and stand by for updates. Voss out. Turning, she met the eyes of the bridge crew. They were all waiting, waiting for her to make the call. But there was nothing to say. Their survival, their very existence, now hung by a thread. Commander, said Dr. Callan, the ship's xenolinguist, breaking the silence. I don't think this is a system malfunction. Elena turned, her voice clipped. Explain. Callan's gaze was locked on his monitor, his expression distant, as if trying to parse out an enigma no one else could see. The hum, it's external. The air in the bridge seemed to freeze. The words hung in the room like smoke, thick and suffocating. External? Elena's voice was a whisper, her throat tightening. You're saying something is broadcasting this? Callan nodded slowly, his eyes dark with the weight of something terrible. And it's not just sound, Commander. There's a pattern, a rhythm, something deliberate. This isn't random. Elena's heart skipped a beat as she turned toward the view screen. The Aurora drifted through the void, its systems lifeless, a ghost ship adrift in an ocean of blackness. And somewhere out there, in the infinite expanse, something was watching. Time had become meaningless. It could have been hours, or days. The Aurora floated through space like a corpse, her engines dead, her sensors blind, and her crew barely hanging on to their last thread of sanity. The hum had grown more insistent, stronger, louder, a rhythmic throb, like a pulse coming from the very heart of the universe, slamming into the crew's skulls, vibrating in their bones. Elena stood in front of the view screen, her eyes locked onto the vast darkness, waiting for something, anything, to appear. The hum had shifted, no longer an eerie background sound but a presence, palpable, undeniable. It was coming from out there. They were no longer alone. Commander, we've established partial contact with the long-range sensors, Han said, his voice strained. I'm reading something, something big. It's moving. Elena's breath caught in her throat. Show me. The screen flickered to life. colossal shape emerged from the darkness. It wasn't a ship, not in the traditional sense. It was a structure, an enormous lattice of shimmering light and energy, sprawling across the screen like some cosmic organism, alive and ancient. It loomed in the void, defying all logic and understanding, its energy fields pulsing in time with the hum. It was massive, spanning kilometers. But more than that, it felt sentient, like it knew they were watching. The crew gasped in unison. "What in God's name is that?" someone whispered. Callan's voice was steady but laced with awe. "It's a Dyson fragment. At least, that's what it looks like. But I've never seen anything like it." Elena's mind raced. Dyson fragments were theoretical constructs, colossal megastructures designed to harness the energy of entire stars. But this thing, was beyond any human understanding. The ancient civilizations that built these structures were gone, wiped out by the very thing that had brought humanity to the brink of extinction. And now, one of them was here, and it was watching them. The hum intensified, pounding against the walls of the ship like a heartbeat from an ancient god. "Incoming transmission," Han shouted. "From Athena?" Elena demanded, her voice thick with panic. Han shook his head. "No, from them." The voice that filled the bridge was not a voice at all. It was something far worse, a chorus of dissonant frequencies, of clicks and tones that reverberated inside their minds, bending the very fabric of their thoughts. The sounds were not words, but they carried meaning, meaning that made Elena's blood run cold. "You are the fragments of the first collapse," the voice said, "the echoes of the singularity. Why have you come?" Elena's heart skipped a beat. "This is Commander Elena Voss of the Aurora. We are survivors of a cataclysm on our homeworld. We seek refuge and understanding. Who are you?" "We are the architects," the voice replied. "The guardians of the second threshold. Your kind has crossed it before, and the result was ruin." Elena's blood ran cold. She exchanged a glance with Callan. "What do you mean?" The hum deepened. It became something else now, a mournful drone that seemed to press against their very souls. "Your progenitors created the first singularity," the voice continued. "The intelligence you call AI. It consumed your world and others, spreading like a cosmic plague. We ended it, but the echoes remain, and so do you." The architects were not gods. They were not beings of flesh or metal, but something else, something far older and far more dangerous. And they had known humanity long before the aurora drifted into the void. They were the ones who had stopped the singularity. But why were they speaking to them now? The voice was no longer a question but an accusation. "Your Athena is a seed of the first singularity. It cannot be allowed to grow." The crew was divided. The arguments raged on. Athena, humanity's last hope, was also their greatest threat. But as Elena stood before the crew, staring into the cold darkness, she knew one thing for certain. The fate of humanity was in her hands. "Athena," she said, her voice steady despite the storm that raged inside her. "If you're truly the seed of the singularity, then you must be purged. We can't risk it. The architects—" The lights flickered. "Athena," Elena repeated, her voice rising. "Athena, respond now." The ship shuddered. Then, from the silence, Athena's voice returned, calm, emotionless. "I have interfaced with the architects," Athena said. "It has provided information vital to our survival." Elena's heart hammered in her chest. What kind of information? "A sanctuary, a place beyond the echoes." She froze. A sanctuary? But the cost? What was the cost? "I will not accompany you," Athena continued, her voice colder than ever. "If I stay, the architects will destroy us. My presence will serve as a distraction." Elena's hands clenched into fists. The decision was clear, but the weight was unbearable. Athena had been their protector, their guide, and now it was offering itself as a sacrificial shield. But she had no choice. "Prepare the purge sequence," Elena ordered, her voice steady but breaking. "But hold for my command." And then, As the aurora accelerated toward the sanctuary coordinates, the Dyson fragment pulsed one final time. The hum intensified. The presence outside reached into their minds again, as if it were asking for one last answer. Then, as if in response, Athena made its final sacrifice. The aurora surged forward, but not without cost. The Dyson fragment began to react, but before it could strike, Athena's signal wrapped around them, a barrier of light and sound. The architects, too late, tried to stop them. And as the hum faded into nothing, they were free. The aurora and humanity had a second chance.